Welcome to the Friday edition of the Sean Starr Show. We made it through another week together. Thank you so much for taking some of your day and spending it with some of my day right here on YouTube and youtube.com. Hit that like and subscribe button to make sure you don't miss anything. And as always, here I am to remind you, you can join me live every Saturday morning at 9:30 right here in this space where hopefully you're watching on the Sean Starr YouTube page. And I will be here Saturday morning at 9:30 as we look back on the Canadiens week that was. Of course, they played against Tampa Bay on Tuesday, played at Detroit on Thursday with Sam Montembeault in goal for both of those games, getting set for the weekend that features a visit from the New Jersey Devils, who just put a good thumping on the Boston Bruins earlier this week. So another massive week for the Montreal Canadiens. So make sure you're here with me tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. live. I will be taking all your questions, all your comments. We will react to the Montreal Canadiens week and look ahead towards New Jersey and then the week to come as the California road trip is right around the corner. And yes, we're excited for the NFL Conference Championship weekend. Live tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., I will be giving you some of my NFL picks. I've been watching and paying attention to the Montreal Canadiens for a really long time. And I'm confident when I tell you that I have not seen a Montreal Canadiens roster so deep, so spread out with talent, with so much promise still to come. And we can look forward to the days of Ivan Demidov in Montreal, bringing more electrifying offensive skill to the Montreal Canadiens organization. We can look forward to David Reinbacher finding his home as a top four defenseman, hopefully, on the right side for the Montreal Canadiens for years to come. We could talk about Jacob Fowler, the standout NCAA Division I goaltender who continues to have another sterling season in NC2A hockey. The future of Jakub Dobeš, and on we go. But what has impressed me here, outside of the Montreal Canadiens for the better part of 5 to 6 weeks, being point-wise one of the best teams in hockey, a high-scoring team, a fun and engaging team to watch, something that I don't believe I have really ever experienced watching this team, either as a casual fan or someone that perhaps you watch on YouTube or you listen to on the daily on TSN 690. I cannot think of, and please remind me, of a top-tier player allegedly putting his hand up and wanting to go and come and sign voluntarily with the Montreal Canadiens. Are we seeing a different version of the Montreal Canadiens organization where perhaps coveted free agents can look past taxation, can look past language, can look past the pressure and the pressure cooker that is playing for the Montreal Canadiens? Because it all started back on December the 14th. So let me take you to X very quickly and the very popular Habs Reddit channel. And it started right there on December 14th at 3:25 in the afternoon when Habs on Reddit tweeted out the following, and you can see it on your screen right now. Patrik Laine today on his former Winnipeg Jets teammates and friend Nick Ehlers, who's currently at the time was out with injury. The quote from Patrik Laine: "I brought him a signed Habs jersey to cheer him up a little bit. No, he asked for it. I didn't just bring it. Well, 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 what do we have here? Well, as it unfolds this week, is there the potential of a star forward wanting to join Montreal because of the Patrik Laine effect? Now, as we know, the Montreal Canadiens, as I've already told you, have been arguably the best team in hockey for the better part of a month. Now, the Canadiens are very much in the mix, in the thick of the race in the Eastern Conference playoffs. How does Ken Hughes and Jeff Gorton react to the team's competitiveness? How do they react to the fact that they have expiring contracts belonging to David Savard, Christian Dvorak, and Yoel Armia, all set to expire? The Canadiens and their general manager have gobs of cap space, and they have loads of picks. And now there's a player who has recently shown interest in joining Montreal via free agency, and that player is Winnipeg's Nikolai Ehlers, who again is having a season. He is a star player on the Winnipeg Jets, currently on their second line with Nemestikov and Gabriel Velarde. And Nikolai Ehlers is having a nice little season. Let's take a look at what he's done so far in the National Hockey League this year, where he's played 40 games, coming back off injury, following up his 25-goal, 82-game campaign a year ago, where he put up 61 points. He's followed that up with 14 goals and 26 for 40 points. And Nikolai Ehlers has been around, high 20s, never got to the 30-goal marker, but is a very balanced, competitive, feisty, and hard-nosed player. So right on the surface, a very attractive option for Ken Hughes to go out and perhaps make a hard play at via free agency. Nikolai Ehlers, $4.75 million in terms of a cap hit. Now, what's the realistic chances that the Montreal Canadiens can look at Nick Ehlers in the summer of 2025 and make him a competitive offer, and knowing that you have a massive asset in Patrik Laine that can be a magnet and attract good players to the Montreal Canadiens organization? Well, there are reports coming out in the aftermath of what is going on with this story, where a website, habsulamentfan.com, has a quote from Frank Saravalli, a very respected NHL insider, suggesting Nick Ehlers will be a free agent at the end of the season and has shown interest in signing with the Montreal Canadiens. Quote, the Jets forward, currently in the final year of his contract, setting to become an unrestricted free agent, has his eyes on the city of Montreal as his next destination. And as we told you already, when we go back to what Habs on Reddit had put out there, I'll put it up on the screen again, on December 14th at 3:25 in the afternoon, where Patrik Laine brought him a Canadiens jersey, not because Laine was trolling him or trying to make fun of him, because Nick Ehlers asked for it. So yeah, I'm kind of making a big deal out of this. It's not, again, not because Patrik Laine was out there saying, hey, let's get this done. So as a result, Laine and Ehlers have become very close friends in their years together in Winnipeg. I believe they live together. And this could be a very legitimate sign that the Jets forward might eventually become a member of the Montreal Canadiens. And it is, no doubt, a very interesting piece of information, as it's so rare, and never before, I don't believe in my lifetime, have I seen a player who's on the right side of 30, who is a very good, very balanced, has the right attitude, in my opinion. 14 goals and 40 points in 40 games. 14 goals, 26 points, and 40 points in 40 games. Point-a-game player, Nick Ehlers is. 4.75 in terms of salary. And I'll remind you, he was a first-round pick a decade ago, and he's having a very, very strong season playing on a very competitive team with the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, heck, let's transition over. Let's take a look at where Winnipeg is and how much this guy means to this organization, right? He's played in 40 of their 49 games and has 40 points. The Winnipeg Jets have 32 wins and 67 points. And when we go across the table, obviously the beasts of the NHL's Western Conference with a 7-point cushion over Minnesota in their Central Division, a 5-point cushion for the best record in the West over the Vegas Golden Knights, and only the Washington Capitals, with their 69 points, have more than the Winnipeg Jets. So Nick Ehlers, clearly a very valuable member of the Montreal Canadiens. But this is what happens, in my opinion. This is the direct result why stories like this pop up. I don't believe Patrik Laine is fibbing. I don't believe Patrik Laine is making things up. I'll take him at his word that Nick Ehlers asked for a Montreal Canadiens jersey, maybe Laine on the back with number 92. He didn't go on and expand. He didn't ask for an Ehlers Canadiens jersey, obviously not. But this is such rarefied air. Hit me up in the comments. What do you guys think? Is there room for a guy like Nick Ehlers on the Montreal Canadiens? I mean, obviously, with Yoel Armia and Christian Dvorak, and those are the forwards up front, David Savard on the back end, money is going to be freed up, and the Canadiens have money. You know, being poor is not a problem for the Montreal Canadiens. And I say, if Nick Ehlers wants to be a Montreal Canadien, I would love to see Ken Hughes go out and get this guy, because I believe that once the first domino falls, that you have a very good borderline star player in the National Hockey League who's a point a game this season after 40 and had 25 goals the year before. And because his friend Patrik Laine is in Montreal, and maybe Ehlers is paying a little bit of attention to what's going on with the Montreal Canadiens, what they're doing this season, what's to come down the road, knowing how the organization is set up. And of course, Patrik Laine perhaps even lobbying, saying nice things about how the Canadiens have welcomed him in and have minimized any pressure whatsoever, and have had a very seamless transition. My friends, the good days are here, and they're only getting better. How about this? a potential star forward putting his hand up saying, I want to be a Montreal Canadien once I hit the open market in July. So what do y'all think? Hit me up in the comments. How do you feel about Nikolai Ehlers potentially joining the Montreal Canadiens? Where does he fit? Can he fit? I'd love to hear your opinion. Don't forget, join me live at 9:30 on Saturday morning. That's 9:30 Eastern Time. We'll look back on the Montreal Canadiens week that was with games against Tampa Bay, games against Detroit, and we'll set up the Habs and New Jersey Devils on Saturday from the Bell Center, and we'll look ahead towards NFL Conference Championship weekend. But how about this? How about this? A potential star forward in the National Hockey League putting his hand up saying, I want to be a Montreal Canadien. What do you think about Nick Ehlers as a future Montreal Canadien signing as a free agent? Let me know in the comments.